Pretty good, right? Lots and lots of information for you. It's so important to me that you be able to make the most out of your life, whatever you want to do with your life. I don't think people have the right to jam what they want for your life down your throat. I think you need to be the one who determines what you want with it. And I think that school districts and teachers should do everything they can to help you. So I believe that the website is very, very helpful. Because the beautiful thing about the website is that every one of you guys learn differently, and the website is able to be tailored to your individual needs. I am sure the way Rachel, I'm trying to learn names here. What's your name again? Stephen? Okay, and what's your name? Derek. So Rachel, Stephen, Derek, and Chris. I'm sure the way they learn is very different, each and every one of them. But when you can go home at your own pace and rework through parts of the lesson by watching the video or looking over the notes that I put up on there, I think you'll find that it really helps you learn. And that's a very, very, very important thing. Okay? All right. So what I want to do first is review a little bit from yesterday, and then we'll go through the lesson for today. And any day that we finish early, we give you a chance to start your homework. Okay? You guys ready to rock? Mm-hmm. All right. You guys are impressive today. It's kind of a hot, muggy, disgusting day, and we're still pushing through, which is a really good thing. No. Yeah, that's the killer. I came in, it was literally flooded over there. So I can't, I wish I could. I don't want them shut, I want them open. I'm gonna open the door in a minute, yeah. No. When we get a convenient moment, yes. But here's the deal. What did we say yesterday about having lunch right before class? Oh yeah, go potty before you come up to class. Okay. For what it's worth, the same exact thing applies to me. There are days where I gotta go and I have to wait, yes.
Where are the cookies?
I didn't get them yet. I go to Costco and I buy the mega boxes.
He goes to Costco.
And I haven't been to Costco. I may go to Costco today. But I don't think we're going to have our first quiz. Let's see here. Math 8. Yeah, our first quiz will be Wednesday next week. So I don't have to have the cookies until Wednesday next week. Okay? Yeah, the day we get back. That's when we'll start the quizzes.
Do you always have
Do I always have cookies?
Do you always go to Costco?
I don't know if you mean that, like every day, or do I go there when I need stuff? If I need stuff, I go there.
The computer has a mic.
Okay. Oh yeah, there's a microphone in the computer. Everything's being
Is this
recorded.
gonna go onto YouTube?
Yes.
So it hears us talking about cookies and everything?
Yes. Yeah, I have nothing to hide.
Oh, it's on right now?
I have absolutely nothing to hide. If a parent thinks I'm a lousy teacher, they could go through all of these videos and they can find whatever they want to try to get me fired.
It's recording right now?
Yes. Good luck. I've been doing this for a really long time and I have a lot of success. What?
If I walk through it, it'll see me on YouTube.
No, it won't. It only records what's on the screen. Yes. No. Same thing as before, okay? Now, if we get a convenient point during the lesson, the answer is yes. All right? Okay, so first off, what are we going to learn today? What's the whole point behind being in here today? One thing. How to add integers specifically with the same sign. What's another thing? Go ahead.
How to add integers with different signs.
Good. And last? Everybody?
How to
How to evaluate absolute value. Good. So that's the point behind it. And if you walk out of here knowing those three things, you've had a perfect lesson. You've done the job exactly right. If you walk out of here not knowing one of those things, we have the website, we have extra help, we have other things to help you out. Okay, so what's the order of operations? Well, this was yesterday's lesson. We spoke about the order of operations, and we said there were a couple of different ways to remember it. There was PEMDAS, or there was please excuse my dead Aunt Sally. But within PEMDAS, the first step is always parentheses or packages. I kind of like the word packages a little bit more. The second thing is exponents. What's an exponent again? Yeah, a little thing up at the top there. Okay, good. What's the third thing here is what? Multiply and divide. And we talked about mom and dad yesterday and how you do them in whatever order you ask. Whatever you see. If it's division first, you do division first. If it's multiply first, you do multiply first. It's left to right. Don't ever reverse the order. Just like if mom says no to the movies, it's no. Don't go trying to get dad to say yes, otherwise it's ugly. And last is to do addition and subtraction. Again, left to right. So a good example of that is example A right here. when kids get this question wrong, the most common wrong answer is 3. Take a look at your paper. Did you get 3? If you got 7, you're doing it right. Okay? Because addition and subtraction are the same, so we read left to right. What's 7 minus 2?
5,
5. 5 plus 2 is?
7.
Sweet. Okay. Now we take a look at letter B. What is the first thing that you need to do when you evaluate this? Exponent. Very good. What is 7 squared equal? 49. Good. So I have 5 times 3 plus 49. Now, what do I do first here? Do I do the multiplication or do I do the addition? Multiplication. What's 5 times 3? 15. So then I get 15 plus 49, which is 64. Nicely done. Okay. Now, if you're able to get those questions right, to me, that means that you have a very good idea of everything we spoke of yesterday in the class, and it's a really good, it means that you're off in the right direction. You're doing a really good job so far. If not, it doesn't make you bad. Understand that. If you got either of those questions wrong, you are not a bad student. What you need to do is ask yourself, well, what did I do wrong? And then let me try to not make that mistake in the future. Now, you're going to learn on our tomorrow's lesson sheet is going to have a number of these questions will be exactly the same. So if you got it wrong today, you get another chance at getting it right tomorrow. You know how some teachers give homework and the homework is like, let's say, I don't know, page 21, 1 through 10, and you do all the homework that night, and then the next day you come in and you never do questions like numbers 1 through 10 again? That is not how I do things. You see very similar concepts repeatedly over multiple days, 3 days, 5 days. The most important topics you're liable to see 100 days in a row. Because I want to make sure that you have all the chance you need to master them. It's not good enough to get them right some of the time. We want to get them right all of the time. All right, and the last part was yesterday we spoke about an algebra and an arithmetic. And we said that an algebra is just like an arithmetic, except you use variables instead of numbers. And number 3 is an example of algebra. Now, the questions in A and B are exactly like, in numbers 3A and B, are very much like numbers 2A and B. Except in number 2, you'll notice that we used numbers when we wrote them out. On numbers 3A and B, we use letters. But the letters have values. Yes? Let me go through step by step, and then you can glow inwardly. Okay. X is 8, so I put an 8 here, plus, now the 2 stays. What does 2b mean? What operation? Multiply. Good. So b is 4, so that's 2 times 4 over 4 times 2. All right, so I need to figure out the top of this fraction and then the bottom of the fraction and then do the division. What's 2 times 4, everybody? 8. What is then 8 plus 8? 16. Good. Now, what's 4 times 2?
8.
And finally, what's 16 divided by 8? 2. Excellent. Head up. Oh, man, I wish I had hair like that. I will never again have the problem of seeing through my hair. Now, this one, cd squared minus xb. What does c equal? 2. Times, what's d equal?
10.
10 squared. Minus, what is x?
8.
8. What's b?
4.
4. Okay. What do I do first?
Exponent.
Exponent. So what's 10 squared? Not 1,000, 100. Very good. 10 to the third is 1,000. 10 times 10 is 10 squared. What's 10 times 10? 100. If I do another 10, that's 10 to the third power. Okay? So this becomes 2 times 100 minus 8 times 4. So I have to do the multiplications. What's 2 times 100? 200. Minus what's 8 times 4? 32. Now, a lot of kids will do it like this. 200 minus 32. I hate doing that. If I get a really long list of numbers, I'll do it. But I like to do this in my head. 200 minus 32. The key to doing this in your head is you don't do the whole thing at once. You do 200 minus 30. And if you don't like doing 200 minus 30, you do 200 minus 10 3 times. What's 200 minus 10?
190.
190. Minus 10.
180.
Minus 10.
170.
170. So I've done 30 so far. Now I got to do 2. What's 170 minus 2?
168.
168.
That was 101.
Okay. So it's very easy to do without a calculator, and it's very easy to do without pen and paper. Okay? Any question on that do it? Okay. Now, the purpose of the do it is not for you to walk into a room and get everything perfectly right. The purpose of the do it is to try to poke and prod you. It's to try to test you on the things that you're supposed to know. And if there's anything in there that you don't know, it's supposed to reveal it to you. So here's the deal. If you got this all right, awesome. You understand everything in yesterday's lesson. If you did not, hopefully now you do. And you're going to get an opportunity on the homework tonight, and you're going to get an opportunity on the do it tomorrow to get a better idea, or to get it right again so that we don't have to worry about this anymore. And then it'll start showing up on some quizzes that you can get it right. Okay, any questions? All right, so let's now begin what would be the normal part of today's lesson. You'll notice there's some homework answers from last night that you can look at if you need them. Let's do some addition problems. +5 plus +2. So here's the deal. I am not into a ton of rules. I don't like rules in my life. Let me rephrase that. I don't like people telling me rules in my life all the time. If I figure them out myself and I learn to live by them, then that's a good thing. But if I just have like someone who acts like my boss and tells me all the time what to do, I don't like that. I like concepts. I like figuring things out. I'll give you an idea. I have coached lots of sports over a long time. In my life, I never played soccer. Does anybody here play soccer? Okay. Take one look at me, please. Do I look like a soccer player?
No.
No. I stink at soccer. But I coached it for about, 5, 6 years, and I never had a losing team, even though I stink. And the reason's really simple.
Can you
Ready?
coach us?
I'm gonna show you exactly how you do it. Ready? Check it out. Here's the goals. If we never let the other team have the ball in here, and we force them to only have the ball out here, it's very, very hard for them to score. If we control all of this, if our team dominates this area, we're gonna win. So I would put my best players in this region, and I would make sure that every time they had the ball, I would run them to the outside, and I would not let them in the middle of the field, no matter what. And my kids had heart, and my kids had guts. Now, I did play college hockey. So, because I played hockey, that's how you play hockey. And hockey's kind of like soccer, okay? So we took this general concept, this general principle, we applied it to soccer, and we weren't great, but we were always pretty good. Now, we even beat Sachem, which means something. We beat them 2-1 one year, and they were going nuts that we beat them. So let's talk about a concept. I want to show you that you've been thinking mathematically your entire life. If you have 5 photographs and 2 photographs, what do you have? 7 photographs. Excellent. If you have 5 Penn State sweatshirts, that must be killer hot right now, and 2 Penn State sweatshirts that must be killer hot right now, what do you have? Besides a very sweaty young lady. 7 Penn State sweatshirts. Very important that we understand that. Now, if you have 5 notebooks and 2 notebooks, what do you have?
7 notebooks.
7 notebooks. Haven't you been doing this like forever? And don't you already completely understand this? Well, I'm going to show you that you almost completely understand positive and negative numbers with adding already, before I even try to teach it to you. This says, if you read this properly, this says 5 positives and what?
2
2
positives.
positives. What's that?
5 positives.
5 positives. What's that?
2 positives.
Tell me what I got all together.
7 positives.
Bingo. Done. Now,
Jesus.
check this out. What is this? 1 negative. What do you think I'm going to draw next? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tell me what I got.
You got 6 negatives.
6 negatives. Done.
Hey, Mr. Lindquist, you're really smart.
I am.
Oh.
I am smart. But the reason I'm smart is not because I'm like some super genius, because I've had some very, very intelligent people teach me. And I learned to think the way they think. I don't like rules. See, how many people have ever heard the following? 2 negatives make a positive. That will mess you up. It's very dangerous. 2 negatives make a positive only when multiplying or dividing. It does not make a positive with adding and subtracting. So instead, I like to take this concept. Tell me if this makes sense to you. 2 pens plus, say, 3 more pens is 5 pens, right? Did I just say anything where you went like, man, I gotta think about that. I can't understand that. How many people heard that and said, obviously? Right? You with me on that? Good, okay. I want math to be very logical and to make sense to you. So when you add things, anything on the face of the earth, you have to add things that are alike. If you don't add things that are alike, then you are not going to be able to do it. For instance, let's say, what is 2 pens plus 3 Lamborghinis?
3 Lamborghinis and 2.
3 Lamborghinis and 2 pens. You can't add Lamborghinis and pens. They're very different things, okay? Now, if I said 3 Lamborghinis and 2 Lamborghinis, besides having a very good time and a very small bank account, because that's a lot of money, you're going to have 5 Lamborghinis. And if you have 2 pens and 3 pens, you're gonna have 5 pens. 2 pens, 3 Lamborghinis, no can do. Okay? That is it's a concept. I can only add or subtract things that are the same kind of thing on the face of the earth. Now, you tell me, what's 4 negatives and 3 negatives? 7 negatives. Now, how do I write 7 negatives? -7. There's my answer. Now, not every person thinks like me. So if you're someone who likes rules, and it's not bad if you like rules, some people like that structure in their life. It says write the rule for adding integers with the same sign. The rule is to, notice it says with the same sign. You want to add the numbers, keep the same sign. Now again, I don't recommend doing it this way, but if you insist, so be it, okay? The big thing to me is to just say to yourself, look, this is really, really easy. Just like 2 pairs of sneakers and 1 pair of sneakers make 3 pairs of sneakers, 2 negatives and 1 negative make 3 negatives, 2 positives and 1 positive make 3 positives. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Now let's scroll to the next idea. Oh, actually, no, before we do that, I have some practice problems to get it through. Let's try numbers 1 through 9. Go ahead. Do it. Okay. Now, I'm just going to point at people. I'm going to start with Carmen. I'm going to go up and down this side of the room. Okay? Carmen, -7, -5.
-12.
Perfect. Okay. Angela, right? Go ahead.
-20.
Nice. Gabriella, right? Got it. You're going to do it now. What's 4 negatives and 3 negatives?
3 negatives and 4 negatives.
Mm-hmm.
8 negatives.
7 negatives, good try. But you're thinking right. Yeah, you messed up the 4 and the 3. That I'm not worried about. I like that you understood that if I have 4 of these things and 3 of these things altogether, I have that same kind of thing. You just made a little mental error. I'm not worried about that. That'll straighten itself out. All right. 2 plus 5, and Diana? Go ahead.
7.
Don't get offended if I screw up your name. I'm really bad with names. 6 negatives and 6 more negatives? -12, good. And Anthony, right? Okay. Spencer, 7 and 9. This is like 7 positives and 9 positives. Good. By the way, you want to know the easiest way in the world to add 9? I never add 9. I don't even care if the problem says add 9. I add 10 and go back 1. What's 7 plus 10, everybody?
17.
Go back 1.
16.
Done.
17.
Same thing if you were going to add 8, go up 10, back 2. Much quicker. Much, much quicker. All right, now we are up to Selena, right? -4 and -2. Nice. Okay, -8 and -3. Juan? Jason, go ahead. Good. Max, 7 and 5. Good. 12 is right. Okay? So, do we have any problems with that? Any issues?
No.
Okay, so now we go to the next one. And the next concept, which was the second thing that you're supposed to leave here knowing how to do today, is how to add with different signs. Now, at first you might say to yourself, well, Mr. Lindquist, just a couple of minutes ago, you said to me that you can only add things that are alike. You are adding things that are alike. You're adding numbers. So even though one's positive and one's negative, they are still numbers, so they can be combined. I would like to draw a picture of positive 3. Then I would like to draw a picture of negative 2. Now, you all had our wonderful science teacher, Mrs. Bing, right? She taught you about protons and electrons,
Yes.
positive and negative charges. Now, what happens when a positive charge and a negative charge come together? Long summer, right? I'm sure. When a positive and a negative come together, they cancel each other out.
Oh, I knew it.
Okay? That's right. All right. So, when I look at this, what I see, this is very important. Make sure you're watching this, because if you don't watch this, you're going to miss something that's very visual. A good way to learn. The positive and the negative come together. They cancel each other out. The positive and negative come together. Remember, we're adding here. What do?
So what's
Cancel each other out. I like to say they go die-die.
Die.
They do die-die.
Wow.
Now, these guys are taken away. You with me on that? Listen very carefully to that word. They are taken away. What's the only thing left in this entire diagram? Positive 1. So the answer to this is 1. Okay?
Whoa.
Now, here's where some kids will screw up. Sometimes they say different signs is negative. Wrong. There's one with different signs and it's positive. So I like to be able to draw it out. I like to be able to, actually, I don't draw it out anymore, but I see it in my mind. I see one list, I see the other list, I see them go, die,
Okay.
and then whatever's left. Okay? Carmen?
Doesn't Jagger just take away the signs on the side of it and then change the addition sign to a negative?
Well, you subtract them. Right, and that's the part about, remember before I said this is a very key word, takeaway? Right? And what operation is takeaway? Subtraction, right? So you are taking them away, which means you are subtracting, and then you end up keeping the sign of the bigger number. We'll talk about that a little bit in a moment. On your paper, guys, draw positive 5, negative 3. Tell me the answer. Give everybody a chance to catch up here. Positive 5, negative 3. And by the way, if you like this, you can draw pictures all year long. I recommend that you don't, but you can if you wish. All right, what do we get, guys?
Positive 2.
Good. 5 positives. 3 negatives. Ready? Die, 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 die. What's left?
2 positives.
2 it is. All right, next one. Okay. 3 positives. Now, I want you to think for a second. It looks to me, as a teacher, like looking at you, if you could stand up in the front of the room, if I got Carmen up, or if I got Gabriella up, and they looked at you, they would say, man, they look like they're chilling. And you're very relaxed. You don't feel threatened at all. And you're getting all of this stuff right. Right? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Die, die, die. Die. What's the answer, everybody?
Negative
Negative
1.
1.
Thomas doesn't feel comfortable anymore
Thomas doesn't feel comfortable anymore?
because he said die.
Oh, wait till you see what we got coming. Oh, you wait.
I'm telling you this.
Now, negative 5 plus negative 2. Do it.
Yeah, they all
Negative 7.
Negative 3.
You're okay.
Boys, end the game. Hey, shh, 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 shh. End the game. Negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives. Negative 2. What do I get?
Negative 7.
That's right. See, I can't.
Yeah, okay.
Hey. You really need to focus here. There's nothing to do die-die here. Die-die only occurs when there's a positive and a negative coming together.
Chris.
There are no positives and negatives. They're all negatives.
See on
So
top
it's
now
negative
to
7.
add different-
Any question about those
Trick
4?
you.
Okay. Now, the next step is to summarize a rule if we're adding and the signs are different. What can you think goes in the rule? What are some important things to do? If you write out a rule, if you want to follow a rule, what are some of the rules for if the signs are different? Rich?
They are the same thing, you just add them if they're different, you cancel them out.
Good. What phrase did we use for cancel them out?
Die.
Yes, die, and we said that's like taking away. Now, what operation is take away?
To opposite.
Take away. Talk to me, guys. What operation is subtraction? Very good. So, it says here, with the sign, with different signs, so what you're gonna say is subtract and, let's see, and keep the sign of the bigger number. Now, you're always gonna keep the sign of the bigger number because isn't the bigger number always gonna have the longer list?
See.
So if you like rules, you could say subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. Once again, subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number. If you don't like rules, you just visualize it. You see them knocking each other out, so you see that you should subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. Okay, one last thing to learn about, absolute value stuff. Okay. Oh, let's do some subtraction with different signs here, all right? -3 and -8, what do we get?
11.
What kind of 11?
Negative 11.
-11, very good. Whoa!
Oh, Jesus.
Next, -3, +8, what are we gonna get?
5.
+5, very good. Right, that makes sense, because I'd have a list of 8 positives here and 3 negatives here. I kill off 3 of the positives, that leaves 5 positives left. What about 5 negatives and 4 positives? -1, good. And what about 2 negatives and 7 negatives?
-9.
-9, nice. John says the sum of -5 and 8 is -3. Is he correct? No.
No.
Yes.
What did he do wrong?
Oh, my bad, no.
Everything else.
What did he do wrong?
He didn't kill him.
Ash?
He didn't keep the sign of the bigger number.
That's right. He did not keep the sign of the bigger number. The 8 would be the longer list. All right, very quickly, listen. What's the absolute value of -2?
2.
2. We'll talk a little more about absolute value tomorrow. I actually don't think there's anything on the homework about it. Hasta la vista, vaya con Dios, toodaloo, ta-ta. Arrivederci, smile a lot, ciao, arrivederci, adios.